A land full of magic, character and fantasy. This one takes you back to your childhood. Today on Walt Disney World Adults Only, we are exploring Fantasyland at Disney's Magic Kingdom Park. Welcome your Royal Highnesses, I'm Dan and you're watching Walt Disney World Adults Only. Today I'm going to be joined by Natalie and we are going to be taking an in-depth look at Fantasyland at Disney's Magic Kingdom Park. We're going to be discussing all the attractions, the places to eat and drink and also all the shops there too. Are you ready, Natalie?
Thanks, Dan. Yes, I'm ready to explore Fantasyland. Before we begin though, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below.
We already have videos on Adventureland, Frontierland and Liberty Square too. This is the fourth video in this series and I'll put a link to the first three in the description below. So, Fantasyland is an opening day land at Magic Kingdom and over the past 50 years it has certainly gone through quite a lot of change and expansion too. Fantasyland celebrates the animated Disney classics and allows you to step into the fairy tale yourself. Of course, Cinderella's castle is the first thing that you see as you step onto Main Street, the symbol of this land. From 2010 to 2014, significant expansion was undertaken, with some attractions being retired and some areas being reimagined. Today, Fantasyland has the most attractions and two of the most iconic restaurants in the whole of Magic Kingdom. It is divided into three areas: Storybook Circus, Castle Courtyard and the Enchanted Forest, and many of the original opening day attractions still remain. Okay, let's dig in. Let's start with the attractions. Do you want to start us off with Cinderella's castle, Natalie?
Yes, it's certainly the first thing you come across in the park. Cinderella's castle, standing at 189 feet tall, is truly the icon of the park, let alone Fantasyland. Cinderella's castle has many great attractions associated with it. Starting within the castle itself, you've got some beautiful mosaics that tell the story of Cinderella. And as you're exploring these mosaics, you can also get some great views looking down Main Street, USA. The castle is also home to Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique and Cinderella's Royal Table, but we will come along to Cinderella's Royal Table a little bit later on. The outside of the castle has had many changes over the years, from the original colours to the infamous 25th anniversary party cake castle, which is interesting to say the least, to when Stitch took over the castle for one day to commemorate the opening of Stitch's Great Escape, and to the current gorgeous colours of today. The castle is also home to the most exclusive suite in Walt Disney World, and that is the Cinderella Castle Suite. The suite was finished for the Year of a Million Dreams celebration, where each day one lucky family was chosen to stay in the suite. How amazing would that have been? This suite sleeps 6 people and has truly lavish decoration, truly fit for a princess. The front of the castle is also open to the castle stage show, where in normal times you can find Mickey's Friendship Fair, a sing-along dancing musical spectacular featuring Mickey and his pals. The stage also features special stage shows, such as at the Villains After Hours events. The castle is also centre stage for the nightly fireworks and projection spectacular, Happily Ever After, and it's also home to Tinkerbell's Flight, which if you've never seen it, is pretty cool to watch. There's also the Kiss Goodnight, a feature only found at Magic Kingdom. At the end of the night, when the Magic Kingdom is closing, this plays at the castle, lasting approximately 2 minutes. The castle twinkles and the music of When You Wish Upon a Star builds. It's truly magical. I think that wraps up our overview of Cinderella's castle. Now, speaking of other iconic attractions, would you like to tell us about It's a Small World, Dan?
It was the first ride that I ever went on at Disneyland Paris, and I think for that reason it probably holds a really special place in my heart. I loved it as a kid and I still love it now. I even love the song, which I know that most people find to be highly irritating. So It's a Small World, for anyone who doesn't know, is a water-based boat ride with over 300 audio animatronic dolls, all in traditional costumes from cultures around the world. This originally debuted at the 1964 New York World's Fair, and it was later moved to Disneyland, and you can now find this attraction at 5 different Disney parks around the world. This attraction has a theme of unity and world peace. The song It's a Small World is super catchy or irritating, dependent upon your tolerance for repetitive cheesy songs. Now there are some plans to refurbish It's a Small World and to add in some Disney characters to the ride. Personally, I love it just as it is, but I will be interested to see what they do to it. Natalie, are you a Small World lover or hater?
I'm okay with It's a Small World. I can take it or leave it. But I have to say, I'm definitely going to have that song stuck in my head for the rest of the day now. Another original attraction is Peter Pan's Flight, based on the 1953 film and the attraction at Disneyland as well. This is one of the opening day attractions. Join Peter Pan and the darling children as they fly over London to visit Neverland. Of course they come across Captain Hook. Will they be able to defeat him? Of course. This dark ride in the castle courtyard area of Fantasyland is a rail suspended ride, with you riding in a flying galleon as your ride vehicle. The ride boasts an omnimover style boarding area for the attraction to help keep the queues moving. However, it often gets the busiest wait times at Magic Kingdom. Although I like this ride, I wouldn't queue for it. The queues are a little bit too long for my liking. This attraction is usually open at the after hours events, and I remember when I went to the Villains after hours, there was no queue at all and I could just walk straight on. It was fantastic. Would you queue for this attraction, Dan?
You know, Natalie, I really love this attraction. I was a huge Peter Pan fan as a child, and even now 2 of my favourite meet and greets at Magic Kingdom are Peter Pan and Ting. In all honesty, I wouldn't wait more than 15 minutes max for this attraction. I do normally fast pass it when they're being offered, so I love it enough to fast pass it, but not enough to wait more than 15 minutes for it. Now on to Mickey's Philharmagic, and I really love this little show. It is so much fun. And super cool in there as well on a very hot day. Now this is a 4D show which lasts for just 12 minutes and features 3D effects, smells and even a water spray. The show opened in 2003 replacing Legend of the Lion King, and this show features Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Donald, Lumiere, Ariel, Simba, Aladdin, Jasmine, Peter Pan and Tink too. Now I'm not going to tell you this is the best show you're going to find at Walt Disney World. In fact, it does look very dated indeed. But it's cool in there, there's rarely a wait, and it's great fun too. Do you recommend this one, Natalie?
Actually, Dan, I have a big soft spot for Mickey's Philharmagic. I often find it has a short wait, it's really cute, and it lets you get out of the Florida heat for a little while. I make sure to do it at least once every trip. Our next attraction to talk about is right next to Mickey's Philharmagic, and that's Prince Charming's Regal Carousel. This carousel was built in 1917 by the Philadelphia Toboggan Company, and it started out life as a Liberty Carousel in Belle Isle Park in Detroit. The carousel was moved to Walt Disney World in 1971, ready for opening day. The original name was Cinderella's Golden Carousel. However, this was changed to Prince Charming's Regal Carousel to keep it more in theme with Cinderella's story and the area. This 90-second attraction is a typical carousel featuring 90 horses and a chariot. You go and pick your steed and then listen to Disney music played on the organs you go around. Now, there is one horse in the second row that features a golden bow in its tail, and rumour has it that this is Cinderella's own horse. I quite like this attraction. It's just good fun. Now, I wouldn't queue for it though, as it is just a carousel. I do, however, remember one rainy day visit to Magic Kingdom where there was very little crowds, and I actually went on this attraction twice in one day. Now, I know you like this attraction, Dan, as I've seen photos of you on it before. So, tell me about another original attraction. Let's go with the Mad Hatter's Tea Party.
Oh yes, I love the Mad Tea Party. In fact, I love Alice in Wonderland. It was another one of my childhood favourites. But more than that, I love things that spin. And even more than that, I love to spin people who do not like to be spun. This is a basic spinning teacup ride where you do have some control over the spin yourself. Inspired by the unbirthday scene from Alice in Wonderland, this is another one that doesn't tend to have any kind of wait. I would never queue for it, but I'd always jump on if there was a short line. When this attraction first opened, it didn't have any kind of roof. In 1973, a canopy was added along with a central teapot too, and in 1992 it got a new colour scheme, new music, and the addition of the lanterns. This is a fun ride, but don't queue for it. Natalie, do you like being spun?
I do quite like spinning, and I do like the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. However, I often have to ride alone. Now, speaking of spinning, let's talk about Dumbo the Flying Elephant. The Dumbo attraction is found in the Storybook Circus area of Fantasyland, complete with Big Top. Based on the 1941 film and the ride at Disneyland, this is a truly iconic attraction. Hop aboard your own Dumbo the Flying Elephant, and with the help of Timothy Q. Mouse, you can fly. With this attraction, you actually get to control how high you do fly. This attraction had a major makeover and reopened in 2012 with a second ride. This helped keep the queues down a little bit more. With the addition of the extra ride capacity, there is also a new queue system inside the Big Top. It's an interactive queue with a children's play area. As you enter the Big Top, you are handed a film ticket styled pager and you can explore the Big Top while you are waiting. Now, a big Disney secret for me to reveal. I've never been on Dumbo the Flying Elephant. I bet you weren't expecting that. What about you, Dan? Do you find this attraction too childish?
Not at all. They are a classic and I absolutely love them. Now, I wouldn't be disappointed if I didn't get to ride them, but I do try to go on them once every trip, just because they're such a classic. Again, these bring back such great childhood memories for me, and on my last trip I even had my 60-year-old parents on them. Whilst we are in Storybook Circus, let's also talk about the Barnstormer. Oh dear, the shortest and most disappointing ride ever. Okay, I know it's a kid's ride, but my advice to you is just to skip it altogether. Actually named the Great Goofini's Barnstormer, it reaches a top speed of 25 miles per hour and is just a 1 minute ride. A 1 minute ride. Do not queue for this. Walt Disney World Railroad also has a stop here in Fantasyland as well. We discussed the railroad before in our Frontierland video. If you want to know more about the railroad, I'll link that video in the description below and also right here for you as well. For now though, the railroad is currently closed to enable the construction for the Tron coaster. Shall we now move on to the Enchanted Forest area, Natalie?
Great idea. Let's start with Enchanted Tales with Belle. This is a cute attraction. Starting out in Belle and Maurice's cottage, you progress through into Maurice's workshop where you encounter the magic mirror. Now, the mirror is truly magical as you soon find yourself in the Beast Castle. From here, the story of how Beauty and the Beast met is told, with you helping out. Now, I've not had a chance to experience this attraction yet, but I definitely want to. I hear you were in the show on your last trip, Dan. How was that?
Embarrassing. The cast members literally made a beeline for me and I became a knight. And I was mortified. But at least I had the thing to hold up and hide my face, mostly. Now this isn't really my kind of attraction, to be honest. It was really good to do it and to see it, but for me, I would say that's a one and done. Unless I'm with somebody who really wants to see it, then of course I'll go again. I will try to be more conspicuous, and I would like to just say that this show is really, really well done. Now, one attraction I do really like is Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid. So The Little Mermaid is one of my top 5 Disney movies of all time. I love the story, the characters and the music, and this ride takes you on a journey through the story. Okay, the animatronics aren't the best, and compared to Frozen Ever After, it does look a little desperate. But this is a must-do attraction for me on every trip. An Omnimover type ride system, seated in clamshells, this dark ride descends below the sea and takes you through the key scenes of the movie. Honestly, it's so cute. I would probably wait for up to 15 minutes for this. Do you enjoy this ride, Natalie?
I do quite like Journey of the Little Mermaid, and I make sure to do it at least once every trip. I agree, I wouldn't queue for this attraction. However, I've also found that I've never had to. I either find that it's a short wait, or it's easy to snag a 4 fast pass. Another attraction I make sure to visit at least once each trip is the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. This attraction took over from Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, which shut in 1998. This ride is quite long and lasts just over 3 minutes. I do quite like this ride, but I have to admit, Eeyore is one of my favourite characters. You start the ride being swept away on a breeze into Owl's house. Now, look closely when you're in Owl's house, as there is a painting in here depicting Mr. Toad giving away the deeds to the property to Owl. On this ride, you also get to bounce along with Tigger and enter the dream world with the singing heffalumps. Now, this is my least favourite part of the ride, as it's just so weird. Overall, I do quite like this ride, but again, I wouldn't queue for it. But I've usually found that you can get an additional fast pass when you've used your others up. What do you think to the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Dan?
I do quite like it, it's fun, and I love sitting in those awesome little honeypot cars. This, however, is not one that I would queue for at all. And the final attraction that we're going to talk about today is the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Now this one is super fun. It opened in 2014 and is only available in 2 Disney parks. This is a steel coaster and has one of the longest wait times in the whole of Magic Kingdom. That said, I have never queued for it, and it's one of the first fast passes that I will secure when they're being offered. The ride just isn't long enough or thrilling enough to justify waiting over an hour. We actually have a video about the longest wait times at Walt Disney World, and I'll pop a link to that video in the description below. The coaster goes both indoors and outdoors, and you're seated in a kind of swaying car, which is really quite unique. It gets up to a maximum speed of 34 miles per hour and has a 12-metre drop. I actually love the indoor scene inside the mine. It really is visually stunning. And there are 2 PhotoPass cameras on this ride, which give you a great video souvenir to take away once you've ridden it. Overall, this is a great little coaster. It's fun and it's different, but it's really not that thrilling. My advice though, make this number 1 for a fast pass should they return. Are you a lover of this, Natalie? I think this is our last attraction.
I really like this ride, and I make sure to go on it every time I visit the Magic Kingdom. So, that's the last attraction. Quite a lot to do in Fantasyland. I think we should move on to the restaurants next. I'll choose first, and I'll go with my favourite in Fantasyland as well, Cinderella's Royal Table. Cinderella's Royal Table is found in Cinderella's castle, with views overlooking Fantasyland. We actually have a video that goes into much more detail about Cinderella's Royal Table. We'll put the link to this video in the description down below. This restaurant is classed as signature fine dining, and during normal times is a character meal as well. Cinderella greets you at first before you ascend up into the restaurant itself. Here, while enjoying your food, Jasmine, Aurora, Snow White and Ariel come round to visit. I've always found the character and interaction here to be excellent, at least in my experience. However, being signature fine dining, this restaurant can be quite expensive, costing $62 for an adult entree. I know you've dined at Cinderella's Royal Table, Dan, and have mixed views, so let's go on with Be Our Guest.
Yes, Natalie, as you say, I had 2 very different dining experiences at Cinderella's Royal Table. I will say that everybody should dine here once. It is a right royal experience. Now, Be Our Guest is located in Beast Castle and is a super popular restaurant. During normal times, it's a quick service breakfast and lunch and a signature fine dining dinner. And when dining plans are being offered, it's 1 quick service credit for breakfast and lunch and 2 table service credits for the dinner. But right now, whilst we're filming this video, they only open for a signature lunch and signature dinner for a fixed price. We actually have a whole video about this restaurant, which I'll link below for you. But in summary, breakfast and lunch here in normal times is not great, but dinner is really excellent. And I highly recommend dining here just to see inside Beast Castle. It's stunning, literally stunning. And during normal times, this is where you'll meet Beast as well. The cuisine here is French inspired, and I have 3 words for you, the grey stuff. So next, let's go to Gaston's Tavern. Natalie?
Gaston's Tavern is dedicated to everybody's favourite villain, Gaston. This is a mostly snack location, which would be Disney Dining Plan eligible if it was running. They sell 2 main snacks. One, a huge, delicious, warm cinnamon roll, and the Master's Cupcake. The Master's Cupcake is courtesy of the Be Our Guest restaurant and means that you don't have to dine there to try the grey stuff. Trust me, it really is delicious. LeFou's Brew is the drink of choice here, and it can be served in a souvenir glass if you want it to be. LeFou's Brew is frozen apple juice with toasted marshmallow and topped with a passion fruit mango foam. It's very sweet but very delicious. Have you tried the LeFou's Brew, Dan?
Yes, I have. It's very, very sweet. I do quite like it, but I can't drink a whole one. It's just too much. Next, let's move on to the Cheshire Cafe. This is a little window where you can get the Cheshire Cat Towel. I'm sure you must have seen these. They also do a Wonderland slushie here as well. The Cheshire Cat Towel is $5.50 and it's basically a chocolate twist pastry with piped pink and purple icing. This is a Disney Dining Plan snack credit when it's been offered, and of course this is Instagram worthy as well. I'll also mention Storybook treats here as well. This is another window type place, mainly serving ice cream and sundaes. You can get a really great hot fudge sundae here, as well as one of my favourite snacks, the Peter Pan float. This is key lime Dole Whip floating on top of Sprite. Somewhere that I've never been inside is Pinocchio Village House. Can you tell us about this restaurant, Natalie?
I shall try my best. I have to admit, I've never eaten here either. Pinocchio's Village House is an Italian-themed quick service restaurant, which would take the quick service Disney Dining Plan if it was being offered. The restaurant mostly serves flatbreads, salads and chicken strips, costing between $9 and $12. I've heard reasonable things about the flatbreads here from my friends, and I've always found the restaurant to be very busy when I've been visiting Magic Kingdom. The restaurant is styled after the 1940 film and boasts murals and paintings depicting the story of Pinocchio. The restaurant opened in 1971 and even boasts one dining room that overlooks the loading area of It's a Small World. I think I should give this place a try. Now moving along to Prince Eric's Village Market. Have you ever found it open, Dan?
Actually, never. It's a seasonal place though, right? I know where it is, but I've never seen it open. When it is open though, you can get turkey legs, that mermaid donut and jumbo pretzels. It's a bit of a snacky place and they have some healthy options here too. So that is all the places to eat. The signature restaurants, the table service, the quick service and all the snacks too. Gee, I'm hungry now. Let's move on to the shops, and I'm going to start us off one of my favourite shops in Magic Kingdom, 100 Acre Goods. This is a Pooh inspired shop and I really like it. Despite not being a huge merch person, I have actually bought a few things from this shop. Mainly gifts, and you can buy some really great shirts in this shop. I remember getting my dad a really cool Grumpy shirt. Whilst it is mainly Pooh stuff here, they do also have merchandise from other Disney movies too. This shop is a must-do for me on every trip. Natalie, do you want to tell us about Fantasy Fair?
Of course. I quite like this shop. This is essentially the Mickey's Philharmagic gift shop. The shop sells hats and headwear and has lots of options for Mickey ears. You can even get your hats personalised here. Another shop I'm a big fan of is Big Top Souvenirs. Would you like to tell us about that one, Dan?
Oh, this is a great shop. It kind of has everything. You can get sweets, snacks, shirts, embroidered hats, plushies, toys, etc, etc. It is right at the back of the park and it kind of gets overlooked in favour of the stores on Main Street, but it's a really great shop. I can't remember if I've bought anything in here myself, but I've been in there quite a few times and it's really, really cool.
Sir Mickey's is found near the castle and is themed after the brave little tailor and is being overrun by a giant beanstalk. This is a fun shop selling costumes, clothing and accessories. I even once met the fairy godmother in here. The last shop on our list is Bonjour Gifts, which sells mostly Beauty and the Beast merchandise. However, it also sells arts and collectibles, which makes this shop just a little bit different, and one of the reasons why I quite like it. That's all the shop's done. I think we should move on to character meet and greets now. I'll start us off with Princess Fairytale Hall. Princess Fairytale Hall is one of the best and air-conditioned places to meet characters in Magic Kingdom, at least in my opinion. Princess Fairytale Hall consists of two queues, one which leads to Cinderella and Elena of Avalon, and another that leads to Tiana and Rapunzel. Sometimes you can even meet different princesses here when the others are away on their royal duties. The queue for Princess Fairytale Hall is pretty standard. However, when it opens up into the hall, you can see portraits of all of the princesses, and you can even see Cinderella's glass slipper. Princess Fairytale Hall opened in 2013 on the site of Snow White's Scary Adventures. What about you, Dan? What are your favourite character meet and greets in Fantasyland?
So many. During normal times, Lady Tremaine, the Fairy Godmother, the Ugly Sisters and Merida can all be found around the castle. Peter Pan also has a meet and greet spot and he is always so happy to see everybody. Ariel meets in her grotto and Gaston meets outside his tavern. He is actually hilarious. Also, Alice and Mad Hatter can be found in the teacups, and during parties the Queen of Hearts is sometimes here too. Plus, Pooh and Tigger also have their meet and greet spot in Fantasyland as well. This land by far has the most characters to meet and greet, and during parties there are even more. One of my favourite ever character meets was Cruella de Vil, plus I got to meet the 7 Dwarfs all together as well.
There's also some famous faces to meet over at Pete's Silly Sideshow. Here you can meet your favourite characters dressed up a little bit differently. For example, you can meet Goofy, but as the great Goofini, a daredevil stunt pilot. Well, I think that's everything. What have we missed? Please tell us in the comments down below, and also let us know what your favourite Fantasyland character meet and greets, restaurants and attractions are.
Thank you so much for your help today, Nat. I love all the Magic Kingdom lands, but this one is really special. I absolutely adore it. Next up in this series is Tomorrowland, so please make sure you're subscribed and click the bell too so you know when it comes out. For now, thank you for watching our video. If you like it, please give us the thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you're not a member of our fantastic Adult Only Facebook group, please join us today where we will continue this conversation and many, many more. You will find the link in the description below.
And remember,
never grow up.